Welcome to Spectrum Perspectives, real talk with parents, professionals, and autism advocates. With your host, Cindy Gellermini.
Hi, everyone. This is Cindy with another episode of Spectrum Perspectives. And today I have a mom on, Annika Cioffi. Hi, Annika. Welcome to the show.
Hi, thanks for having me.
All right. So let's start at the beginning. First of all, how many kids do you have?
I have two.
Okay.
My older daughter is Kira, she's 22, and my younger daughter is Alexi, and she is almost 20 at the end of the year.
Okay. And so which one are we talking about? Alexi today?
We're talking about the younger one, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And is she on the spectrum?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go back to the beginning when you were pregnant, birth, delivery. Were there any kind of red flags? Did the doctor say, hey, there might be something wrong, or was everything going along normally?
Everything seemed almost like the first pregnancy. So all the development seemed fine, all my checkups were fine. The major difference came for me at the OBGYN office because they had recommended, the CDC had changed their recommendation and they had recommended a flu jab. And I was like, I didn't have that with the first one. And I remember sweating and that they were basically badgering me and saying, you got to do this, pushing and pushing, and kind of I felt bullied. And I ended up doing it
Oh,
in that appointment. I didn't have any reaction that I knew of. After that appointment, I was very deflated afterwards, but they were really pushing. And so anyway, that was one difference. And along the way, I do remember feeling, and my husband definitely told me, you seem more anxious with this pregnancy. You seem more irritable.
hmm.
Other than that, everything seemed the same until the birth.
Did you get sick at all? Did you take Tylenol? If that you remember?
You know, all this Tylenol stuff in the news, I
Well,
don't,
that's why this is a new question for me now.
yeah, there's a new question. It's going to be here forever. I don't recall taking Tylenol. I do know I was prone to sinus infections with
Hmm.
both pregnancies, and I remember specifically not and struggling through not taking anything for them.
Hmm.
I remember it specifically with Alexi, the second pregnancy, that I remember leaning over and I was like trying to get a toy, and I was like, oh my God, if I could just take something. And I was in so much pain in all my sinuses. So I know I didn't take sinus med. As far as Tylenol, I'm not a big Tylenol person. I don't remember if I did or didn't. And I have nowhere to really look.
Right.
Um, I have baby books, but not books for my pregnancy.
Right. I
So,
remember when you go to the, neurologist or whoever you go to for your diagnosis, they ask you a million questions. And I,
uh,
I think that was on the list. I seem to remember. I know that they said, did you take any kind of drugs while you were pregnant? And I remember always saying as a joke, I think I took Tylenol once, you know,
right.
but
Tylenol is what you take for a general headache. I remember limiting the coffee, really not drinking ever, having like a sip and being like, "Oh my God, I had a sip." Like
Mhm.
I'm a moderation and kind of a good girl when it comes to following the rules. And if they
Right,
told me to do it, I did it.
right.
Done
That's
this a million
that's why you
times.
took the flu shot.
Absolutely pushed into it. And I remember they were all coming at me.
Oh,
It was
hey,
like circling me.
wow.
And it was and I remember that. That's almost 20 years ago. I remember that feeling like, why are they, I didn't do it the first time. I really don't get the
Yeah,
flu. I don't need it. And
right.
they say, you're putting your baby's life at risk.
Oh,
And
stop
I
it.
remember one after the other, we're all saying it. I'm like, okay,
Yeah. Okay.
against my will,
Right.
really.
And did you get flu symptoms after it?
I don't recall having
Yeah.
any change.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. All right. And
Yeah.
so birth was okay, delivery, all that
No,
outcomes
it's not
scars were
okay.
good or none? Oh, okay.
Um, I had the same OBGYN, same practice, but different delivering doctor. They had like four rotating. And I had Pitocin just like the first time. The second time was different in that my water broke. And that's what took me to the hospital. The first time it was just that I was kind of overdue or something. So I was on time. And then they did the Pitocin, and then it was like a seeming so familiar, and here we go. And then I was trying to deliver her, and I had the epidural. And I remember, like, focusing on my husband was there, and we had taken a refresher course, and we loaded up a garbage bag with so many things, and none of it did we use. I was staring at his name tag, his name on his name tag. I'm staring at it. I'm like, don't move, don't move. So I'm staring at the name tag. I'm trying to control the pain, and hours go by, and then they're basically telling us there's an issue. She keeps crawling back up. And at first they're joking. Oh, she doesn't want to come out. She doesn't want to join us today. La la. And then they had a blue blanket or a sheet, and more and more and more students are appearing at my feet. And there's more people, and there's more alarm, and there's more people, and I'm not, like, not paying attention to the people there. But then the doctor comes over and she says, we're trying. She's on the grip on the handlebars. I remember her.
Mhm.
We're going to do all we can to not have to do a C-section. I'm like, okay. And meanwhile, I can't feel a thing. And I'm trying to do what they're telling me, and I'm trying to follow the rules, and I'm trying to do the best I can, be the best patient. And they had to use forceps and suction in such a huge way. I had no idea, because I couldn't see and I couldn't feel,
Yeah.
how much they had to do. And she came out, they plunked her on me, and she didn't have the cone head. She looked like the first baby.
Mhm.
Slightly wider nose is all I noticed.
Right.
And I looked, 5 fingers, 5 fingers. Okay, we're good. So I thought, we did it. We're done. She's
Mhm.
here.
Right.
Then I tried to breastfeed, and I remember the first baby was very difficult to breastfeed, but I got through it, and I did a year. And I was determined to treat both of these girls the same. And I started with the second one. Um, but she was really not getting enough in the very first day or two. They were really pushing the formula. We're going to let you rest. You've been through so much. We're going to give her formula. I'm like, okay. I remember being kind of mealy mouth about everything, because
Mhm.
it's a whirlwind. So those two things were very different.
Yeah. And you're young too when you have your
Oh,
kids.
yeah. Well, I
So,
wasn't that young.
but but still,
That's the other
well,
thing
you're
they ask you
20
on all
years
the
younger than you
paperwork.
are now. You
Yeah, they ask you on the paperwork, birth age, like someone somewhere is tracking birth age as a potential cause for something. I'd
Yeah.
love to see that report. I mean, there's
Hmm.
no.
Hmm. Interesting.
Yeah.
All right. So then how about her development? Was it on time? Crawling, walking, all that?
The very, very beginning was different. She was jaundice,
Mm.
like severely jaundice. And come to find out what that is later, but she was orange. And I was breastfeeding as much as I could. And
What
then
was it? You've found out later what it was what?
it was around Christmas when she was born. She was born the 18th. So she spent Christmas in the hospital, because we had to bring her back and put her back in and under the lights. She was not
Because of the
flushing.
jaundice. Okay.
Mhm. And then they said, oh, now you can bring her home and put her under the lights, so I have her in this beautiful hand knit thing in the bucket seat on the dresser in the sunshine, hoping that this turns the right way. And then it did eventually. But then I
Mhm.
had problems with the breastfeeding with her. The first one was no problem. Second one, I had breast infection after breast infection after another breast infection, and that is pain like I've never felt.
Mhm.
And I don't know what I took for that. I don't remember. It was
Mhm.
so painful.
Antibiotic, maybe?
God, I doubt it, because I was breastfeeding
Right.
and I was in a lot of pain. So I don't think I was taking anything for that, because I was breastfeeding.
Hmm.
Now that I think about it, it's a good question. But I was in so much pain. I would just be crying, just functioning through my day crying, because the pain was so intense and bad.
Hmm.
Did not have one with the first.
Right.
And getting advice.
Right.
Oh, just massage the duct and all that. I had no idea what it was really about.
Yeah. Okay, but going back to the jaundice though, you said you were alluding to the fact that it means something else. If a baby gets jaundice, what does that mean?
Well, now when I researched it and I found out, what is it? Why do kids turn orange? Well, there's
Yeah.
bilirubin, which is basically poop.
Oh,
It's not flushing. The baby cannot flush a toxin.
oh, okay.
The baby is having an issue flushing a toxin.
Okay. And
Cannot
what
clean its
causes,
blood.
when you're nursing, what can cause the infection? Is that
Low muscle tone. Supply and demand
so?
was off.
Okay,
So she
so
would
two,
eat
right.
okay on one side and not on the other. She was
Okay,
weak. I didn't know she was weak. She was, I fed her. She was fed. You put her down. Everything seems good. And then
right.
the breast infections start. And I had not one, but four.
Yeah.
And then finally,
It's
years
because
later,
she
I
wasn't
figured out
nursing correctly?
she wasn't nursing enough. And she was
Oh,
growing fine. So you asked about development. She was
right.
fine on
Huh.
time, on time up until a certain point.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so she was crawling. She had her first birthday cake. She she cried a lot. Um, but she nursed. I supplemented with formula.
She cried a lot.
Um,
You mean, was she colicky?
I thought she was colicky.
Mm-hmm.
I've never had a colicky baby, only had one who was fine.
Mm-hmm.
So I would ask at the pediatrician's office, is this colic? And I remember specifically she said it is not. That
Okay.
she wouldn't have pockets of time where she wasn't crying if it was colic or something to that effect.
Okay.
I was like, okay,
Was she having some kind of gastro issues, like stomach pains, you
um,
think?
I don't know.
Yeah, you don't know.
She was
Was she
crying.
throwing up a lot? Like,
Nope,
okay.
nothing like that.
Okay.
And fine with her gastro output. Fine.
Okay. Okay.
Hmm.
And she wasn't getting constipated or anything?
Nope.
Okay.
Crawled and then she walked on her, I think it was, I should have taken the baby book out. I think she walked on her first birthday, right
Okay.
in front of my mother-in-law.
Okay.
She was walking.
Okay.
No, no, no. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. I think that's the first kid. That was the first kid. Sorry. We did. Yeah, I have a picture in my mind because I'm very visual. I think of
Yeah, yeah,
pictures.
yeah. Hmm.
Wrong kid. Sorry.
Okay, that's okay.
So she walked, I think it was
I only asked
11.
this because if something was
Yeah,
way off, you would have remembered.
nothing was way
You would have
off
remembered
other
worrying.
than the jaundice
Right.
and the breast infections. Those were the
Okay.
two.
Okay. So when it comes time to for talking 18 months, 2 years, because girls are different than boys. So I'm just
Oh
curious. So
yeah.
was she speaking?
She started with the da da da
Hmm.
and never got much further. At her second year checkup, she says, is she putting two words together? And I was all happily bringing her there and I put her down.
Hmm.
And I remember taking a breath and I'm like thinking, and I'm like, not exactly. And then she wrote out a script to go for a hearing test.
Okay. That's at 2 years. Okay.
Yep.
Right.
So the
And then
two-year
what happened
hearing
with the
test.
hearing test?
Hearing test, I was like, how are they going to test someone who doesn't talk?
Right.
They had all the little signs, the way her eyes would move and stuff, and they said, it's not
Hmm.
the hearing. We'd like you to see a pediatric
Right.
developmental pediatrician. So we went to
Hmm.
go see. And I thought she was going to pass with flying colors. I thought she
Hmm.
was okay. I mean, she was
Yeah.
a little, different than the first one, but you have two, you're comparing one to another. You're not
Right.
comparing one to all. And she was in that appointment and she's, doing the blocks. And I was kind of feeling pride because she's doing the blocks and she's doing what he's saying. And then he gave the diagnosis in that appointment of PDD-NOS.
Right. Right.
And I've heard so many people have that same story over and over and over.
Yes, which I did too. And for listeners that are not autism parents, PDD-NOS is pervasive developmental disorder not otherwise specified, which was the diagnosis years ago,
Yeah,
where if it had 1 to 7 of the symptoms, it was PDD, and if it was like 8 or more, then it was diagnosed autism. But then it all became under autism.
right. They've changed this name and
They changed all of the
qualifications sometimes.
diagnosis criteria, and which I don't
Mhm.
agree with, but that's another
That's another
podcast.
podcast.
So this was at 2 years old?
This was at two. Yeah. So
Yeah.
we were into the next year. So 2006. No, no,
Okay.
sorry, 2008.
Okay.
So she was two. And
So then what?
then they
Because I
said, oh, you
remember
should
my
be.
diagnosis. Mine was at Children's Specialized Hospital. And I was like, and now what? And he handed me a little pamphlet
Hmm.
from COSAC, with,
Yep.
right, which was like the Cure
Yeah.
Autism Now or whatever. Well, that was canned. But anyway, It was a little tiny little pamphlet and said, I recommend that you look at the Morris Union Jointure Commission, the school. He recommended a school, and that was it.
They
And
recommended
I had no idea. And this is over 30 years ago. So this was long before you. This was like
yeah,
32 years ago.
yeah.
Um, and I knew nothing about autism. Nobody, it was not a word that anybody used that anybody knew, you
All I
know.
knew was Rain
So,
Man. Did you have Rain Man even out at that point? No,
no,
right? Yeah.
no, right.
They gave me they said if you want to do genetic testing, here's the number. I'm like, genetic
Yeah,
testing?
yeah.
They said, we recommend you do early intervention.
Uh-huh.
This number right away.
Uh-huh.
So I called the number right away.
Hmm.
I was in that mode where it's like, tell me what to do, I will do it. What do I
Right.
do now? What do I do
Hmm.
now? What do I do
Right.
now? I didn't
Right.
have this meltdown and crying, big,
Hmm.
huge. I didn't even know what I was dealing with. I
Right.
just called early intervention. I started
Right.
that process, and then people started coming to the house and working with her, and we qualified. At that point, I think the ideal was 40 hours a week, but we got 5, and I was fine with that because it was enough already with
Hmm.
just the 5.
Right.
I was not
So the early intervention, so who was it? Did they do an ABA or what? Who
we
were
had
the people that were coming?
ABA, we had speech, we
Right.
had another woman, and then they eventually did another uh, testing for OT, and we qualified for that, so we got OT, and we did that, and then that all stops the day they turned 3. The day she turned 3, that all stopped. So I had the warning before so she was going to turn 3, and they said, the second she turns 3, all of this stops. Just definitely go look at schools. Go
Mhm.
check, don't just take what you're given. This is the early intervention gang.
Right.
They said, don't take what you're given, go look at schools yourself. So I took the COSAC list
Okay.
and I started looking at all the different schools, and I made that my entire focus with
Mhm.
balancing that and the other kid was trying to look at those schools and tour and try to figure out because this, oh, you'll know when it's the right school. You'll feel it in your stomach. I'm like,
Yeah.
okay.
Okay.
So
You know how I decided? Robbie started screaming, crying, and ran for the door at every single school until we got to the jointure, which is the one the doctor recommended.
you mean the
And
South Bergen jointure?
I,
No, you're
huh?
South Bergen jointure? No.
No, they were in Chatham at the time.
Oh, okay.
And he went and he found a toy and he put it on the floor and he started playing with it. And he didn't play with toys, so that was very unusual for him that he did that.
Okay.
But he was calm and relaxed, and he was like, "I'll stay here." I was like, "Okay,
You let him pick the school.
oh yeah." It's like, "Okay, this is the one."
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
I remember back then I remember looking, and I didn't sleep much that summer because I was stressed. How
Hmm.
do I pick the right school? How do I know? How
Hmm.
does my stomach know? So I remember looking for the word eclectic. I said it's better if they don't do just one style. They have lots of styles that they use.
Okay.
Picked a school that was in Verona, that had an autism section of the school.
Right.
It was a special preschool. It was, warm and fuzzy and wonderful and sweet, and we started there.
Okay.
And then yeah, so that was the beginning. And
Yeah.
then it was just the therapies, a lot of the therapies at our house,
Okay.
and trying to bring her out as much as possible and go out in the world and go do things
Right.
and
See, back in my day, we didn't, oh God, I sound like an old grandma. Back in my day, they didn't come to the house. We didn't have any of that. Everything was done at school.
oh,
Hmm.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
they
When that
did. Yeah,
changed.
yeah. They did the, whatever, ABA, speech, OT, everything was
Yeah.
there. We
Hmm.
didn't have to have any of that. And so I didn't have to worry, is this covered under insurance or any of that? It was all at the school.
It wasn't, I don't think it went through insurance. I think it must have, but I don't remember having to deal with the paperwork on insurance because it was just part of I guess, our district.
After 3 years old, yeah.
Right, 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 right.
Maybe, yeah. So if the district was
Early
paying,
intervention was also somehow paid. We didn't pay for that per se.
oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I did early intervention too, but he went to Summit Speech School for hearing impaired kids because that's what we thought it was in the beginning.
Mhm.
And I didn't pay for that either. And I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard to remember the
I don't
details
know.
of it.
Yeah, it's so long ago. I don't know.
I know.
But but I just know that, the young moms now, they can't get appointments, they can't get their
No,
kids in, it's not covered
no.
under insurance. They're just having a hard time because there's just too
Oh,
many kids now.
there's
Just
so
too
much.
many.
Mhm.
So, All right. So all right, now she's cool. Let's talk about the jabs a little bit because I know that you know about that. So what's your experience with that? Did you see her get sick after a jab? Did you see a regression? Any of that? Since that's hot topic right now.
Hot topic. We had the same pediatrician as the first kid. That pediatrician, oh, I'm sorry, I blipped over one piece. At
Mhm.
7 weeks, so I was dealing with, let's backtrack a little bit. Um, this is why I try to write things down. I have it right here. Um, at 7 weeks, she would not nurse all night and she seemed like she was burning up. And I'm like, this is weird. So the next day, I went into the doctor's office and they said, you have to get to the hospital right away. So they said she had RSV. So we were there for 9 days.
Mhm.
And I have a young daughter at home, and I'm trying to figure out how to be at the hospital for 9 days, and they won't let me nurse. So I had to get the pump and dump, and they won't feed her the breast milk. And
Oh.
they're doing nebulizer and all of that. And they basically told me, or I found out at that time that RSV, as far as I knew, it was a cold, that she wasn't strong enough or old enough at 7 weeks to cough or blow her nose.
Mm.
So the infection just sat in her. So it became more infected and more
Hmm.
inflamed. And it was basically just mucus
Hmm.
from my older daughter, because my older daughter went to a daycare and she got a little cold. And I was so happy the baby didn't get it. And
Mm.
then she got it. And it
Okay.
was that one night that was like scary. So brought her to the hospital 9 weeks. Um, and it was at that stay, at now 8 weeks old, the pediatrician from our first place came to me and he said, she's been exposed to so much in the hospital. We would like you to jab her. I can't say
Hmm.
what
You can't
he
say the V
used.
word. Yeah.
He said, we want to do that because she's been exposed to so many diseases here. You know, it's really important that we keep her safe. And I said no.
Hmm.
And he came back again, and he came back a third time, and he's
Right.
practically crying. And he said, the hospital is requiring that you do this. You have to do it. She's been through so much, and here's the second
And it's
time.
for what? Flu or what?
Well, he was saying,
Which,
whatever was on time for what she needed.
okay.
Yeah. So 8 weeks old. I mean, what the heck? So I gave in again.
Hmm.
Because the hospital staff and the pediatrician, in my mind, they see babies all day long, every day. They deal with all this stuff. And what do I know? I just had that feeling in my stomach, like, absolutely not. And I said, absolutely not twice. So I looked back in the records, because of the next pediatrician. Because after that, I took her in for her routine, and I remember we didn't do it. I don't think we did it in the hospital, because if you look at the notes, it looks like it was a few days later. I just didn't like that whole experience. So we ended up going with this other guy, and I was told he was good. So my husband and we bring her in, and we're like, this was not right away. This was, I guess, a year later, maybe. She's already in an early, in preschool and stuff, and she's um didn't have a reaction to a jab, didn't have anything happen that I knew of. I just know that she was different from the first kid. She was so hard to soothe. She was an infant. We went on a family vacation with my sister-in-law and her family, so it was 10 of us. And I remember one night in specific, she could not sleep. So my husband, because he didn't want to wake the whole house up of all these people, he took her in the car and he just drove up and down the beach for hours. And you hear a lot of people do that because the motion helps them with the vestibular. But I only know this now. So I'm like, oh my God, I felt so bad for my husband. Are you exhausted? I can't believe this. And I remember that being very normal, that she could not sleep. We'd be walking and help and couldn't soothe, hard to soothe, hard to soothe, hard to soothe, go to the second doctor. And he starts asking me the questions. And he's like, okay, so when did they inoculate her? Can I say that?
Hmm.
And
Yep.
we told him, and he looked at us behind his big desk and he said, oh. they shouldn't have done that. And I
Mm.
said, what?
While she was sick in the hospital.
He said, so soon after a fever, they should
Hmm.
never have done that. I said, it was the hospital and it was the doctor. And he said, there's no way to know. I remember he didn't say it was absolute. He said,
Hmm.
there's no way to know, but that probably kicked her immune system into overdrive. And now she's in constant flight or fight. And I'm like, oh. And my husband and I have never been the same since.
Mm.
So it was that doctor. And see, I block it out so much so I don't even explain it because that was a huge turning point in my trusting.
Mm.
Because it's the doctor that told me what to do. It's the hospital. They're pushing me, but they're pushing me against my motherly instinct. I said no. I said no. You have to. You have to. You have. Finally, all right, do it.
Hmm.
And that was my fault, so to speak.
Hmm.
That's what I have to live with.
Hmm. Mm.
So, and it was not a moment. She didn't, I mean, I see a lot of people have this moment of regression. I remember the t-shirt he was wearing. I remember the look in his eye. I remember this. I remember that. I don't have that. But she was too young at 7 weeks to have a personality to change.
Right. Yeah.
Or
How
eight,
could you tell at
9 weeks, whatever
7 weeks?
it
You
was.
can't.
It wasn't the same day, that day, but
No, but the
they
regression usually starts around 18 months to 2 years. They have
exactly.
words and then they start to lose the words
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
but you
She could
didn't.
not
Yeah.
say the word horse.
Mhm.
I remember working with her and we had the little animals. And I don't remember exactly how old she was, but she was supposed to say horse. And I remember sitting there going, horse, horse, like
Mhm.
over and over. I was trying, and I'm
Right.
like, something's not right.
Hmm.
But she can't say horse.
Right.
And then you're going crazy. Oh my God, she said horse. Like, because she does speak and she did speak.
Right.
She had very limited speech in the
Okay.
beginning,
She
a
had
lot of
limited.
screaming and not soothable.
Okay. All right. So her years growing up, so she stayed in special ed?
Oh, yeah. She was in special ed in that first school. The first year was good. The second year was not. The teacher didn't want to be in that classroom. We ended up switching her after getting an educational consultant to go in and take a look and give us a report. And we had the paperwork we needed. We shifted her to another school that I looked and looked and looked and looked and looked for. And then again, she was put in a school corner in a room doing discrete trials and ABA in the ABA room. And they're doing this, and you go in for the conferences, and you go in, and they're all about having the integration with the regular kids, and then they never did it. So
Hmm.
that school went to fifth grade. We pulled her in fourth because my husband had had enough, and he's like, "You keep saying that you're going to bring her in with the other kids so she can learn. Oh, but she's too loud. She's too disruptive." He's
Oh.
like, "We're out of here."
Hmm.
So then our support coordinator said, "Do you want to look at some other opportunities?" And we're like, "Yes, please." I toured again and then again. So then we moved her in for fifth grade. Still, now that's a private school for mixed disabilities. And that's where she still is today.
Okay. Yeah, I know which one. The one near me. We don't have to name
No, we
schools,
don't.
but it's
Yeah, yeah,
but it's
yeah.
the one near me. Yeah.
Hmm.
Um. Oh, okay. So she's still there, right? Because she's 20, so she'll go till she's 21.
Yeah, and it's sort of like
Does she still get the extra
years.
year for COVID? Some of them,
No, I'm
like,
not going to push for that because
yeah,
she's not getting age appropriate academics, but there's
right.
certain things that it's good for. And so she'll go till June of when she turns 21. So she has the
Okay,
rest of this year and then the rest of next year. So it's
got
till
it.
2 years as of September that just
Okay,
passed.
okay. So now, does she spell to communicate?
She does for 4 years.
Okay, so let's talk about that. How did you find out about it? How did it start? All that.
Oh
So
yeah.
she considered like minimally speaking, unreliable. Like, how would you categorize her?
Um, when she was younger and she had speech, they always loved her because she can enunciate and she can actually pronounce the words that she wants to say,
Mhm.
that she can say. She just has a lot of scripting and echolalia.
Okay.
Did a lot of research on echolalia, and she'll say the scripts from when she was 2 and 3 to
Mm.
this. She'll do it
Wow.
with her sister. She'll do it with, and then is it gestalt? Is she using a phrase sometimes?
So
So the
the
way
scripting, is she saying things that they tried to get her to say in speech or ABA, or is it like from movie lines or what? What's the
Baby
scripting?
Einstein, baby Einstein,
Okay.
a lot of that. Now, we
Okay.
had been through the brain balance program twice,
Okay.
and they had suggested very little screen time. So she didn't get a lot of baby Einstein. She got
Yeah.
some.
Yeah.
Man, it's fucking hard. So baby Einstein, Maisie, Wonder Pets are her go-tos, and those still comfort her to this day.
Okay.
And she'll still use those phrases to this day.
Interesting.
Some of them are using the, like if she says purple, we know she's upset.
Oh.
Don't know why. I think from I've seen in all these other spellers, a lot of times there's a moment. Remember that piece on the Disney producer whose son was calmed because he would use the lines from Disney movies and they would go back and forth and it would calm his son down? That's
Okay.
sort of like what happens with Alexi. And I got my answer as to how to work with it from her years later. But
Hmm.
all along, the way I explained her was that they say, "Oh, is your daughter verbal?" Yeah, she's verbal to a point. She can express her wants and needs and some commenting. Oh, okay. I said, actually, she's an F9. And they're like, what's that? I'm
Yeah.
like,
What does
that's
that
the
mean?
grid that they never created to explain exactly where she fits.
Did you make that up? I like that.
Yeah, they should have done that. We wouldn't be
Okay.
where we are right now if they had done that.
Right.
Spectrum is not a good enough word. So
Right.
spelling, I had seen um, uh,
So 4 years, that's before the Spellers movie came out. Did you
it's
read Underestimated?
no, so I had heard about RPM at a
Okay.
TACA meeting,
Oh, yeah. Okay.
and I went
Which
home and
is, what does that
researched
stand
it.
for? Taka,
It used to
TACA.
be stand for something else, but now it's the
Right.
Autism Community in Action.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
And if anyone's looking and they want to look it up, it's excellent. They
Mhm.
have evolved very, very nicely, but it used to be talk about curing autism.
Right. Okay.
I refer people to them a lot because they're
That's my
brilliant.
era. That's all they ever talked about was curing autism.
Right.
And
All the
then,
time,
yeah.
all the
Yeah.
time. And then that became really not a nice thing to do.
Well, for certain, if we would
Certain.
split the diagnosis, it's not nice for people with a master's degree with autism, but
I totally get that.
for
I
people that have
totally
a
get
lot
that.
of medical issues, I'm sure they would like to
Yeah.
have be helped. Anyway, again,
Yes.
that's a subject for another podcast. But there's a mom that comes to my retreats that she's involved in that organization.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that offline. But
They're great. They're a great resource
and
to
what
stay.
okay, and what did they do exactly? Did they do like events or like Zoom
Well,
calls,
at that
like
time, they had a
support?
coffee talk
Okay,
in northern Jersey. They had
right,
a coffee talk, and I would go to these things and hear about the latest and greatest and what people locally were doing. So I did
right.
a lot of that. I
Okay.
was constantly researching, constantly looking, constantly trying things, constantly going beyond just the pediatrician
Hmm.
and trying to get his advice and what should I do at this. And we were trying a lot of supplements, and I was a doer.
Hmm.
And so they had a coffee talk, and there was a mom that came in, and we were talking
Well,
at
listen,
that
we're from
day.
New Jersey. It's a coffee talk.
It's a coffee talk, absolutely. But it was at night. I don't have coffee at night, so I think I
Right.
had an icy night. Um, but those were great.
A
They
wind
were
down
great.
Wednesday. Right.
Yeah, yeah. We closed the place down, and I'll never
Okay.
forget. And I don't want to name names, but this one mom came in
Mhm.
and she heard us all talking about parasites.
Mm,
And every time I would go to this thing, I'd come home a little defeated because everyone's spending $20,000 at a clip. Oh, there's this guy in Arizona. You have to go to Doctor, and
right,
yeah, and here's his name. Okay, great. And you're trading information, and you're like,
right,
I don't have $20,000 to
right,
spend on a like that guy did. Okay, whatever. I always figured if I can learn two things, I'll go.
right.
So I always went. And this particular one, the mom comes in and she's like, you can't just do biomedical. You can't. You have to do RPM too. And I'm like, what?
Hmm.
So I went and I remember I watched A Mother's Courage.
Oh, okay. With Selma. Got it.
I backburnered it because I Googled it and I was like, this isn't
Yeah,
highly
I can't
recommended.
even find it. It's not, you can't find it online anywhere.
Yeah. Back then, let's
Yeah.
see how old she was, but it was a while back.
Yeah.
And but though that mom's message never left my ears.
Uh-huh.
And so many times on this journey, something comes in and then it leaves, and then it comes in, and then you hear it from someone else. And my personal rule is if I hear about something 3 times,
Yeah.
really look at it. Because then
Yeah.
I'm like,
Like God is
it's been
talking to you.
delivered
Pay
to me three
attention.
times.
Yep.
So RPM, that happened.
Okay.
And then I started looking at it. So that was before Underestimated, but I had read Hanley's other book, How to End the Autism Epidemic. And I had seen him on the doctors, and I
Oh,
followed,
JB Hanley. Oh, because you cut
yeah,
out for a second. Oh, you read
yeah,
JB Hanley's other
Hanley,
book.
the
Yeah,
author.
got it. Yeah.
So then I actually was looking into RPM somehow, kind of testing it a little bit. And then it was the pandemic.
Yep.
So a lot of people had time on the computers, right? So I remember during the pandemic, I saw this book teaser by JB Handley. I'm like, ooh. And I looked at the cover and I couldn't figure out what it was. And then I read the teaser part and it said something worked. And I'm like, God, could this be that thing that the woman had mentioned at that meeting? And then I asked the woman that I was actually asking about RPM. And she says, I have no idea. So I ordered the book. And I ordered the book along with, I don't know, hundreds and hundreds of people. That teaser was a great teaser. And I ordered the book and I read it in 2 days or whatever it was. I remember reading it and I found it. I went, there it is. I found it. And I was
Mm-hmm.
like, I'm doing it.
Okay.
So we were still in pandemic lockdown. And that's how we started. I'm like, I don't even, I saw in the very back of his book, he had mentioned RPM. I'm like, okay, that's the one that I know about. That's the one I've researched. Let me investigate the difference. So I did that for a while because I over research. So I looked
The
at the
difference between
differences.
RPM and spelling to communicate,
Oh
S2C.
yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
looked at
because
the
he went
differences
to go see Elizabeth Fossler. He did
yeah,
S2C, but yeah.
yeah. And I was on a podcast, watching a podcast with him and Jenny McCarthy, and I think it was Robert Kennedy Jr. at the time. And I put in, but what about RPM? Isn't that the beginning one? And then he mentioned it. I was like, okay, that's my three.
Hmm.
So I kind of felt like, okay, well, that's the one I should do because she does have language. She had
Right.
language.
Right.
Mostly, let me just clarify, she didn't have as much language as she had screaming. Mostly she screamed for language. Because,
Wow.
yeah, and I only knew that because I went to the chiropractor, and it was for my own neck. And then I said, do you work with kids with autism? And he said, as a matter of fact, I did my internship with that, blah, blah, blah. So we ended up doing that as one of the many things that I tried. And I was very nervous to do it. And he explained it and he said, the word gets thought of in her brain. And by the time it travels down the back of the brain stem, it's going down like a faulty wire. Like,
Mm.
when you plug in a lamp and the light flickers on and off, that's
Yeah.
how she's subluxated. So once I straighten it, then the language thought can go from the brain down the brain stem to where it needs to go. And when she was in preschool, they ticked on the box how many times she was screaming. It was 211 times.
Wow.
So she wasn't really talking. I don't want to misrepresent. She
Yeah.
was screaming, ah, what, Lexi? What do you want? Ah! Screaming. And then the day after she would go to the chiropractor, they would mark down on the sheet 35 screams.
Huh.
And they would slowly build back up.
Huh.
And he had worked with kids that had subluxation in the back of the neck. Never said a word. He adjusted the kid's neck and the kid looked up and said, Mom. And the mom starts hysterical crying. He had never spoken.
Wow.
So there are certain chiropractors that know how to do this. And we still go. All these years later, we still go. I go too. And all these years later, it definitely helps with sleep. It helps with language. There's not one thing that fixes everything at
Right.
all, but she definitely
Hmm.
she didn't have language as much as she had some words and a lot of screaming. So I felt with all the things that I was trying, I need to know, it would be really great if I could know how she feels when I try something.
Did you try an AAC device?
Never, ever. was that presented as an option because she had language.
Kidding. Oh, because she had language. Oh,
It's
right,
almost like we get the short end of the stick with the minimally verbal. Now I call her minimally verbal.
right,
But back then, she could express her wants and her needs. She said
right.
bathroom or toilet.
Right. Well, that's all an AAC device does anyway. It says,
Yeah.
I want juice. I want
Yep.
food.
Yep.
I have to go bathroom.
Yep.
That's it. Basics.
Yeah. I mean, it's better than nothing.
Right.
Uh,
Right. But it's not full communication.
well,
It's expressing basic wants and
yeah,
needs.
yeah. And I remember being adverse to an AAC device
Hmm.
when I heard about them. Not that it was ever offered to us, and also sign language.
Hmm.
I said, she has language, and won't that halt the the progression of her language coming? If she's relying on this,
Hmm.
signing, she won't use her language. Like I was just kind of going on my own logic for my own thinking,
Hmm.
because I remember people, oh, come on, let's say cookie. And she would, we would try to get her to say more all the time. And
Right.
she never really did it.
Right.
But yeah, it was kind of ineffectual. We didn't go gung ho into sign language or AAC. No, never
Okay.
was given.
Okay. But you went gung ho in RPM.
Oh, yeah. So during the pandemic, I read the book. I'm ready to go. I've done my year of research because almost everything I've ever looked at, I research it for like a year.
Wow.
Yeah, like I go into it and promptly forget most of it, but I was watching a lot of videos on it and looking at everything. And so then I found someone within 20 minutes of our house who would do RPM.
Really?
And the problem was
That's what I was going to ask is how
it
did you
was
find
closed.
someone? Because it's very hard to find
I
anybody.
looked on Halo. Hey, you live in
Okay.
Jersey. There's going to be someone here for something. Yeah. I mean,
Oh, so Halo is Soma's website
someone's
for
sent.
RPM.
I
Yeah,
looked on her.
HALO for anybody that is listening.
Yeah.
HALO. Halo is
I usually
Soma's
put in
website.
Halo, Soma, and then it
Yeah.
comes up.
Yep.
And in New Jersey, there were a couple of people, and I put in calls and I got one, but we were closed from the pandemic. And so what we ended up doing was doing it on video. So
Hmm.
she tried to teach Alexi, who was homeschooling and hating homeschooling, on the computer, and it was not going well. And she's screaming and she's not here. And so she said, why don't you, because in RPM, you write your own lessons. So she was teaching me how to write lessons in the right way. And so she had, why don't you write the lesson and videotape yourself giving her the lesson? And then our time together will be me critiquing how you did it. I did that until she opened. Then she opened and we went in.
Okay.
And Alexi was 15 years old.
Okay.
That's when we started with that. I also, I guess, should put in that she had seizures.
Oh,
Um, that I also wanted to be able to know if we tried a medication, how she felt. So she had a seizure at 15. So we started letterboarding, I think, after that. Yeah. So she had her first seizure during the pandemic.
okay.
It's around the same time we were starting to do letterboarding, but that was the impetus for me to, because I was scared to death of seizures. And she had a bad one.
Did you feel that the stress from trying RPM caused the seizure, or did that
No,
didn't
no, no, no.
that
It was
no?
a very hot day.
Okay.
We finally were opening up and we went to our favorite water park.
Oh,
And that's where she had the seizure up
oh,
on like halfway to the sky.
oh, lovely.
Two-person, we were waiting for two friends.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you want to hear this or not. Should I tell the story?
Yeah, go
It
ahead.
was, it was a two-person. So I was right behind her. And she looked like she was looking for a plane.
Yeah.
And then it started to spiral and I caught
Yeah.
her. We were basically surrounded by people and cement stairs and a huge long drop.
Oh God.
So yeah,
That's horrible.
I know.
And you got so it was grand mal, like full on seizure.
No, it was a focal point.
Oh,
And
okay. Okay. But still you
um,
had to get her down.
they had to come and get me from the fire departments, and she
Oh my
wouldn't
God.
get
What'd you do?
downstairs.
You just stood there holding her and didn't
I
move?
was on the floor.
Oh,
Someone came next to me and started screaming in my ear, "You got this, you got this." I have no
okay.
idea who she was.
Okay.
An angel on earth. You're doing great. You're doing great. I'm like, I was just like, breathe, breathe. She came to, and then they had to get us down, but she wouldn't go down. So they had
Okay.
to stretcher her down. I'm in my bathing suit. And so
Right.
go to the hospital.
Right.
And then she had subsequently 4 more until the
Okay.
medication was titrated up. And so I wanted to know how she was feeling on the medications because there's so many different kinds you can
Sure.
try.
Yeah.
That was the other impetus for doing the letterboarding as well. Like it was just more reason to do it.
Right.
Um, so then we started doing RPM, and then soon after the world got opened and we could go to the actual RPM sessions, because she wasn't open with me at home with this strange method.
Hmm.
And I was sweating to death. I'm not great on camera anyway.
Uh-huh.
Then you make me do a lesson on how to make glass. I'm like, and then you poke it was a lot.
Hmm.
We go in person, and I remember being like, "Do you think she can do this? Do you really think she can do this?" And she's like, "Absolutely." And her conviction was so shocking to me. Like, you
Yeah.
see her, right? This isn't
Right.
really happening.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. And I was like, I just got filled up. I'm like, oh, okay.
Hmm.
And so shortly after she started going in person, she answered, I have certain, do you want her words? She
Hmm.
actually, there was a lesson early on about Pisa, the Tower of Pisa.
Yeah.
And she had asked her, why do you think they had to reconstruct the tower? It was falling apart. Why do you think they didn't make it completely straight? And she said, because so many tourists come to Pisa.
Yeah.
It's like, wow, because she didn't teach that.
Yeah.
She figured that part out. And
Right.
that was, to me, that was kind of like the first moment where I started to realize she's really going to do this.
You're right.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Because she was having an independent thought, really.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So now, so is she open?
Totally open.
Okay. How long did it take?
Um, okay, so is that open? Because so many tourists come to Pisa. She was
Mhm.
spelling on a letterboard with someone, not me, an
Right.
answer that was not a choice. Because in
Right.
RPN, you're allowed to give choices between
Right.
two. You see Selma rip the paper and
Yep.
offer two. And
Yep.
that helps focus the brain. They see it, you know.
Yep.
So it wasn't just choices, that was an open answer. So it didn't take long at all, but it
Right.
took her being next to the practitioner, not on virtual for Alexi.
Right.
Yeah, so it didn't take long at all. And then
So
I
that
got,
happened the first time that she was with the practitioner?
oh, but I think it was the second.
Okay. So
And
yeah, that's pretty quick.
yeah, yeah. Right away, she was talking in these weird sentences about Eleanor Roosevelt the first time she was in person. And she she said, what kind of personality did she have? So that's an open answer, asked
Yeah.
question. And she said, her quality, not her life. And it was like, okay. So I was kind of like, it wasn't until the second one. Um, yeah, so it was kind of like weird the first time, and then the second time, and then the third time it was Mother's Day, and she said I was like the sun, which was really nice. And then there was the so maybe four lessons.
Wow. Okay. And she's open with you?
She's very limited with me right now. So
Yeah,
I
it's
knew you were going to
interesting
ask
because
that
they'll be
question.
they'll be open with a practitioner, but not,
She's
okay,
open
so
with 26 practitioners. I've gone to so many different people.
26.
I've gone to 4 different language styles
Yeah.
and 26, 27 different people. She's not one of those kids that has to have the same.
Okay.
Probably because I raised her. I didn't do the picture schedules. I didn't follow. After I learned that I shouldn't have followed directions, I stopped following directions and I did everything the way I felt she needed that. And that included doing these picture schedules and having her set into this routine and all that. So I like to change things up all the time and break the routine, and it worked out great. So
Huh.
now, if as long as I explain it to her, which I learned from letterboarding,
Yeah.
she's really here, hearing me. If I explain, look, the dentist got canceled, so now we're going to go here instead. Okay, never a problem again.
Hmm.
All the screaming lessened.
Okay. Okay, good.
So we tried RPM, and then I tried a training course because the thing I wanted more than anything else was for her to talk to me.
Hmm.
But RPM is more of an educational
Right,
program. And I was kind of finding that it wasn't very social. And after
right,
watching Spellers,
right.
and I wasn't
S2C is more
on that
social.
job through it. I watched Spellers like, okay,
Hmm.
look at that. She's talking to two kids in a room and they're having a conversation. Can I have that? I want that for
Right.
her.
Hmm.
I want her to have a friend, a real friend.
Right.
I want her to have a conversation. And it took me a while. And then I went down to Soma. I took her down to Soma for a camp, which is 3 days of intense sessions. And man, she was so mad the first day. She's bucking in the chair, and Soma's like handling it like a champ, no problem. She
Uh-huh.
puts the padding behind the chair, and she's bucking like crazy.
What was she
And
mad
then
about?
I have no idea,
Okay.
no idea. She didn't ask her either, because it's not so much a conversation, which I noticed. I'm like, okay, she wrote some unbelievable poetry at 16 with Soma in Texas. And we went to go watch the bats fly off the bridge and we did all this stuff. And I was like filling me up to such an amazing, but I can't talk to her.
Yeah.
So, and that became my drive and my focus. How do I get open with her?
Yeah.
And so then I tried another practitioner, and then we tried this, and then we tried that, and then we tried Crimson Rise out in Long Island. I heard they had groups. So then you're driving south and across then I'm trying that. And then they want to go back to the three boards and go back for S2C. And then the fourth time we're there, Alexi looks at me she looks out of the corner of her eye like this. She's the woman's working with her. The first day was great. Second
Mhm.
day was less great. The third day was less great. And then the fourth day, Lexi goes, I'm like, all right, let's try something else.
Okay.
Trying and trying and trying. And then I tried parent course, and then I'm
Did you
calling.
try so that was trying S2C
I
with
was
her?
trying to see.
And they went back to the three boards and stuff. They went backwards for her.
And
What
that's what they
about,
do. That's the plan. That's what they do.
yeah. Yeah, but I could see how she'd get annoyed. She's like,
I would get
okay.
annoyed because she was doing the other for so long, but also
Yeah.
um, S2C, a lot of times, reads a long paragraph and asks for recall. And it's my suspicion everyone with autism has autism a little bit differently. And I
Right.
don't think they say everybody can retain and recall all this information. They have it. I'm like, I don't think she does. I
Hmm.
don't think if you read her a paragraph, she has the didactic memory. I don't think she saw that page and knows French now. There are certain things she definitely has, but I don't think she has that. And I think she got pissed that she
Hmm.
was asking, come on, I know you know this. And she's probably going, I don't.
Right.
Like she's more creative than she is recalling. And S2C requires recalling of the read paragraph. And so I tried that also in two other places. Didn't go well.
Mm.
And they said, oh, do the immersion. I'm like, oh, that's a lot of money and it's a big commitment. And then I go back and I learn about motor. I know about her motor. I get it. And then you learn more and more and more. And I just keep on just gathering information and learning as we go. But now we go and we do, they actually hold her on the arm,
Yeah.
and she spelled the first day. Oh my God, this is so much faster. My thoughts are coming so fast now. This is awesome.
Who held her on the arm?
Practitioner there,
Where?
where we go out in West
The
Jersey.
immersion place out. Oh, not the place in Long Island. This is a different place
Nope.
in
Yeah.
West Jersey.
I've
Okay.
tried so many different people, practitioners. Yeah.
Yeah, so let's talk about that for a second because a friend of mine, she learned RPM and she I think she combines a little S2C, RPM, whatever. And
Mhm.
she just supports her son's elbow just the
Yep.
slightest, just so that he has an awareness of where his arm is.
Right.
And bam, he became open.
Boom.
And
Mhm.
S2C won't do it because of all the negativity out there from ASHA and all that nonsense trying to, and
Yes.
everybody's saying it's not real, it's fake, the practitioner's spelling for them, blah, 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 blah. But this mom, she's like, I couldn't care less what ASHA said. If my son can spell because I touch his elbow, that's what I'm going to do. So
So
I
I
kind of
keep
want to get that
RPM.
out to people
Yes,
too.
absolutely. Everyone's different.
Yep.
And I no longer follow all the rules. So if
Right.
S2C says you have to do it this way, you have to do it this way, that's good for someone else to have those rules, but
Right.
I like to cherry pick what works for my kid.
Right.
And I watched her have relief. And I
Hmm.
thought, who am I to tell her she can't speak now?
Right.
She
Because we
uses,
have to prove to Asha that this is real. No.
I have a different way to prove to Asha.
Yeah.
So my daughter also will go over and pick up the letterboard that's on the shelf in the kitchen and bring the letterboard to the living room and hold up the letterboard on herself. And she'll spell out ice cream and look at us. And I'll
Oh.
say, oh, okay. And she'll go put the letterboard back.
Oh, she holds her own letterboard. That's the first I've heard that.
She also takes a boogie board, which is an erasable pad. It's a notebook that you can press the button and erase it.
Okay.
Every night now, she'll take that and with capital letters, she writes out whatever's on her mind. She gives me one.
Okay.
She'll say, swimming pool. I'm like,
Okay.
I know it's Thursday. Because what she will be open with me about
Yeah.
is stuff that I think a typical almost 20-year-old girl would be
Mm.
open with their mother about, which is schedule,
Mm.
plans. She
Okay.
doesn't want to pour her heart out to me. In fact, sometimes she has me leave the room. The stress between her and I,
Ah,
she's actually spelled too much, Mom. You're too much.
there you go. Okay, because that's what I was going to say. The reason why a lot of kids won't spell with their parents is because the parents aren't regulated. They're too excited, they're too tense, they're too whatever, and the kids pick up on that and they're like, and they just shut down. Where
I know I have
practitioners are
like an
more
ADHD.
relaxed.
Yeah,
Well, the
I have
fact
like an
that you have to
ADHD thing.
research something for a year before you do it tells me you're an overthinker.
Totally. And I switch thoughts. Like I'll
Mhm.
be talking about this and I'll thinking about that. And I think she can feel that. And it makes her
Yeah.
insane. She loves me, but oh my
Yes.
God, go away.
Yes. So, all right. So bringing up thoughts, do you see
Yes.
any kind of telepathy? Do you think she can hear your
I
thoughts?
listened to all the telepathy tapes
Right.
and didn't listen to it with her. I listened to the last one, the 10th one with her on
Hmm.
purpose. I said, I want to snuggle up with you and listen to this
Hmm.
about other speakers having their thoughts,
Right.
not moms talking about it. I want you to hear other speakers. And I read a lot of blogs to her and a lot of other words from other spellers of all kinds to her and
Hmm.
share their books with her and all that kind of stuff. Um, we don't have a huge telepathy situation going on in our house. And I
Hmm.
do believe that other people have that,
Right.
but we don't. And I've tested it and retested it and retested
Right.
it.
Right.
Um, but she also has alluded to the fact that she said one time, she said, we spell for those who can't hear us. So if she's
Right.
saying that,
Right.
she's not reading my mind from another room with a test, but she says that. And it's sort of like
But the fact that when you sit and try to spell with her and she knows that your mind is all over the place and that's frustrating her, that tells me something.
oh yeah, yeah.
So either she's picking up on your thoughts or it could be not fully clear, but she's picking up on something. I know with my son, I never knew about spelling or telepathy or any of this stuff, but I always said he had a sixth sense and he could always pick up on people. He
Yeah.
could pick up on your emotion or what's going on in you, and then it becomes exaggerated in him. If you're getting agitated, he's getting agitated. And
Yep.
I always thought he didn't understand anything we were saying, but he definitely picked up on the mood and the energy or whatever that was going on in the room. So I knew he was sensitive to something.
Do you
Um,
remember during the telepathy tapes, Lucille Ball was driving past a radio station with
yes,
metal filling,
yes,
and the radio station kind of came through her filling?
yes.
I don't think that was in there by accident. I think our kids are almost like transistor radios in some kind of way.
Mhm.
I know that sounds kind of crazy.
No, no, because Katie explains it, with Houston that they're very sensitive to frequencies, and
Yep.
frequencies are thoughts. Thoughts are frequencies, but
Yep.
Houston picks up on Wi-Fi, like it bothers him, Wi-Fi.
Hmm.
And she said
A lot of them are sensitive to
there's
that. Yeah.
frequencies in everything, in light, in
Yep.
sound, in
Yep.
rocks, and like frequencies are,
Yep.
whatever, and
People,
they're very sensitive to
animals.
it. Yeah.
That's why horses love my daughter.
Mm,
They sense her. The old crangly horse will come across an entire field just to go over to her. Noodle on her. Like,
really?
what happened here? And
Yeah.
she could care less, really. She doesn't have that whole magical horse thing as far as I know,
Right. Right.
but they have it with her. They sense it. animals can sense it in
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. It's interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, because animals always like me, and I'm not like a big animal person.
Oh, isn't
I
that
grew up,
interesting?
yeah, I grew up with animals, and I'm like, whatever, I could take them or leave them. I mean, it depends, you know. You
Yeah.
give me a big golden retriever, and I'm going to turn into a mush. Um, but when I for work, I go to clients' homes all the time, and it's somebody different every day, and that I've just met for the first time. And the animals always want to be by me, and even like the ones that they try to keep away in the other room because they don't want them to, you know, they're like, well, he doesn't really like people. They got to come see me, or the cat. They have to come see me. And they're like, I
Yeah.
can't believe this. This cat doesn't like anybody, but this cat loves you. And I'm like, I
Yeah.
don't know why.
Yeah.
I don't love them
They,
back, but
they sense it. They sense it. They sense it in people in
yeah,
certain, I think.
yeah. Well,
Yeah.
to me, my biggest um gauge is autistic kids. You know, if they like me and want to be around me, then I know I'm doing good, you know. So,
Autistic kids, I find, now that I know what I know, when I
mhm.
talk to the autistic kid,
Yeah,
I see them looking at me like they're an animal because I was raised with dogs and
right,
I was always talking to dogs that couldn't talk back.
right,
Husband said, "Oh, you were well groomed for someone like Alexi because you just look in her eyes and you look at her behavior and your skills are honed to
right.
understand what it is that she needs. Oh, I think she wants that. Oh,
Yeah,
this is what she wants.
yeah,
And how did you do that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
right.
So
You
I
see it
think
in the eyes or
having,
something.
mhm. So
Mhm.
then I think I've met quite a few spellers, and then they are judging you from the second they meet you. Do they
Yeah.
think I'm here or not? And they can't really look at you, but if you talk to them
Hmm.
and you explain something as if they were a speaker, then they kind of go, "Oh, okay, cool." And
Yeah.
then you're
You're
accepted.
presuming competence.
Goes both ways.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. True, true.
hmm They
Yeah.
have to know if you're on or if you're faking it. And they know.
Oh, they know. They see right through it. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So my daughter basically has sound sensitivity. She's got light sensitivity, definitely.
Hmm.
Um, for sure.
Yeah. So, I know she loves to dance.
Yeah, that was quite a thing to figure out. She was always the gymnast. We used to call her Curious George. She was climbing stuff. She was very
Right? She's
physical.
like,
She
yeah.
had amazing balance. She's hanging on things like a monkey, like
Right.
crazy. Never thought of dance. During
Mhm.
the pandemic, there was a ballroom studio. Before the pandemic, there was a ballroom studio that had special needs um, group classes. And I was working at a place uh, in marketing, but I had suggested that it was for a 21 plus program. And I said, why don't we take the young adults to the ballroom? And then I was set on having that for Alexi one day because she kind of grew out of gymnastics because the people stopped calling me back. Gymnastics, she would get like basically, she could not do the class, but she could do a one-on-one. So we would get her like a half an hour with someone. Didn't matter if they had training or not,
Mhm.
just if they would talk to her. So
Mhm.
they would model for her and show her, and they would explain it, and she would climb up and reach the red and come down, and she loved having that. And then she liked rollerblading and ice skating and sledding and fast boats and all that. And
Wow, I'm
then,
really surprised she could do rollerblading and ice skating. That takes a lot of balance.
yeah,
Huh. Really surprised she could do that. Okay.
she has overactive balance, never fell. She rode her bike in one day,
Wow.
one day. I
So
was walking
her
behind.
vestibular is pretty
Her vestibular is challenging, but the way she overcompensates for it, it's
okay.
really weird.
Huh.
So, I danced all growing up. And you know, she did, if you lift her leg, it goes up to here.
Oh,
Her
she's
muscles
very
never turn
flexible.
fibrous.
Yeah.
So, a
Wait, say that again.
newborn,
You cut out. Her muscle what?
her muscles, from what I was told, her muscles never turned fibrous. So I was like, what does that mean? So
Yeah.
her leg can be lifted like a newborn's leg. You
Huh.
can lift a newborn's leg up. It
Yeah.
never, she could still have that. So
Huh.
it's real wild. But that as a dancer, that's, oh my God, that's
Oh
something
yeah,
that
that have that flexibility. Yeah.
all these years later, we're sitting here, my husband and I talking through things, and he said, you used to do those privates for her for gymnastics. Why don't you see if that place in town will do a private ballroom dance? I'm like, all right, because I was lamenting that the other place had not run the program anymore. I wrote the guy, and he wrote back he would need to see her for a trial, but that he had a brother back in the UK with autism. I'm like, you're kidding. The brother's 53. I'm like, all right. So I brought her in there and he starts working with her. And then he worked with her the second time. I had to buy a package of 5. And I said, I could try 5. By the 5th one, it was very clear she loved it, loved it. And then she would spell that she loved it. She can't wait to go back. And she loves an audience. And then he's coming around to the fact that I'm spelling with her because I said, is it the lights? Yes or no? And she would hit no. I'm like, oh, something else is wrong then. What's going on? Is it this? Is it that? So we wouldn't go full, she'll be open to me to a point. And then we would fix the light. Is that better? Yes or no? And she would hit yes. Okay. And then she'd stop with the noises that she was making. And then he starts to realize she remembers this from last time we were here because we just go every other week.
Mm-hmm.
And he's like, his mind was blown. He couldn't believe it himself. He had not worked with anyone with special needs before. And so then we signed up for 5
She
more.
remembers what? The dance steps?
Mhm.
Okay.
He said, I'm leading her, I'm helping her, but she's already turning to go that way before I even start.
Yeah.
And his mind is like, oh my God.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, she does like 9 or 10 different styles in the 45 minutes that we're there each time we go. And she loves it. Loves it, loves it.
Nice. Nice.
And it's helped her. A lot of the spellers have to do the right and left work or the pulling or the pushing and all that kind of stuff to get regulated enough to sit.
Okay.
Ballroom seems to be doing that for her and helping her with the side effects from the seizure med.
Okay.
So
Okay, so
both
that reminds me of the other thing I wanted to ask. The have you ever had her folates tested?
we're in the process now of going
Okay,
back.
looking into the leucovorin.
I'm definitely going to be asking about it.
Yeah.
We just did we've done quite a bit of biomedical work
Yeah.
over the years, and we just went back after the pandemic, did a whole slew of new tests to do
Okay.
because she had so much progress with the last round. So that woman who told me you can't just do biomedical, you got to do RPM too.
Yes.
I keep up the biomedical too, because
Yeah.
I don't look at autism as autism. I look at the word autism it's way too broad a term. It's that there's dysfunction in the body.
Yeah.
Something's not going right.
Right.
How do I know what's not going right in my kid's body unless I test for it?
Right.
I can't just give her a drug and try it. I need
Right.
to know what she's low in, what's not functioning properly. So biomedical definitely has a place because an ordinary pediatrician they'll either say that's all hoo-ha, or they'll be like my pediatrician and say, you're at a different level, you need to go elsewhere. I can do the routine stuff, I can sign the camp paperwork, but go.
Yeah. You're at a
So,
different level.
oh yeah, they're not trained in this. It's a
No.
very specialized dysfunction
Yeah.
that's going on in their
Yeah. And
bodies.
that, there's a leucovorin page on Facebook, and parents all just want to just get their kids on leucovorin, and my pediatrician won't prescribe it. And so I'm like,
It's not one
you can't
drug.
just
It's
do
not
that.
one
You
thing.
can't, it's not just
No,
this
and
miracle drug
no,
that
and
you can
Ben
just,
Lynch is awesome for that. Ben Lynch, I've put up his study there was a Spanish study about the addition of folic acid to prenatal vitamins and to baby formula and to breads in the 1960s. There's not one cause, in my opinion. There's
Right.
many, 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 and that bucket is going to tip. For a certain kid, especially when they're sensitive, it's going to tip sooner.
Mhm.
And that's autism.
Well, the first I heard of it was when I interviewed Honey Rinicella from the Spellers movie, and
Yeah.
her son Vincent, they tested his folates, and it came back, positive. So they put him on the leucovorin, which is prescription strength of folinic acid, which is different than
Dr.
folic
Fry.
acid,
Mhm.
and took him off of all dairy.
Mhm.
And he has not had a seizure in 15 years now, because that was 2 years ago. That was 13 years. So anytime a parent tells me that their kid has seizures, I'm like, watch my interview with Honey and go get their folates tested.
Mhm. In process.
Yeah. Yeah. Good. Good to know. All right. All right. Listen, we've been on a long time.
Oh my God. You're right.
See? See? You told you. You like, how long do you want to go? I'm like, trust me, we'll go
Oh
at least
my
an
God.
hour. As soon as I get a
This was a
mom
lot
talking
of
about
fun,
their
but
kid, they go
not
on
often
for.
people ask me my history on this stuff. This was really fun.
I
Thank
know,
you.
and it's hard to remember. People ask me,
It is. I think what you do is amazing, and the way that you push this forward and out into the world. I just have to say thank you on behalf of all the people who haven't heard about some of the stuff that we talked about and all the things that you bring up, because the only way you learn about this stuff is from other moms.
Right, but
And
that's how you
mom,
learned, right?
mhm,
From talking to other moms. So
yep,
yeah, and that's all. And I learn as I do this, and everything I
yes,
learn, I try to. I'm like, hey, you got to go. You got to find out about this. You got to listen to this. So,
yep,
all right,
yep.
all right, awesome. All right, Annika, thank you for being here today. I really
Thank you.
appreciate it.
Thank you so much for all you
Okay,
do.
all right, bye bye.
Thanks.
That's it for today's episode. I hope you enjoyed listening and it helped you gain a new perspective. To learn more about our children's book series, Robbie's World and His Spectrum of Adventures, or to learn more about what we do at Robbie's World Foundation, simply visit our website at robbiesworldbook.com.
Thank you for joining us today. Be sure to join us again on our next episode of Spectrum Perspectives.